Everything you need to know about week 3 in the NFL. Broncos versus Buccaneers. The Bucs had a really bad game here. And the MVP candidate, Baker Mayfield, is no longer an MVP candidate because he had a pretty rough game. But the Broncos got their first W of the season. And Bo Nix actually looked pretty good. This tweet sums it all up. Bo Nix just became the first player in NFL history to complete 25 plus passes, have a completion percentage over 69%, rush more than 45 yards, score a rushing touchdown, have 0 interceptions and 0 sacks taken in a single game, either regular season or postseason. Pretty good. Texans versus Vikings. The Texans got spanked by the Vikings here. And look out, Sam Darnold is looking good. No lie, this is probably the best team in the NFL right now, guys. I don't think they're gonna do all this crazy stuff, but right now, they're a wagon. Do I think they're gonna win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think they're gonna make the playoffs? Maybe. But do I think they're insanely fun to watch right now? Yeah. Sam Darnold currently has the most passing touchdowns in the league. And this stat just came out that I thought was insane. Sam Darnold is 27 years old. He's the same age as Joe Burrow. He's 1 year younger than Josh Allen. He's 2 years younger than Baker Mayfield, 4 years younger than Dak Prescott, and 6 years younger than Geno Smith. Don't sleep on Sam Darnold. Chargers versus Steelers. The Steelers are just so annoying. No matter what they do, they're always going to be in the mix. Mike Tomlin is a really good coach, flat out. And Brian Flores, this man's on legendary mode on defense right now. That Pittsburgh defense is firing on all cylinders. And oh yeah, Russell Wilson's not getting his job back. And lastly, Justin Herbert might be out for a while. Per Ian Rappaport, Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, who aggravated his high ankle sprain against the Steelers and exited the game, had x-rays that were negative after the game, sources said. He'll continue to monitor those this week. High ankle sprains are terrible and they linger forever. Raiders versus Panthers. This was going to be a terrible game no matter what, but a couple interesting things happened. The Panthers got their first win, and the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, became the first player this season to throw for 300 passing yards and have 3 touchdowns. And someone needs to check on Bryce Young, because Andy Dalton got the green light to be the quarterback next week as well. And now let's talk about the Raiders. They're brutal, and they're going to be like one of the more unwatchable teams this year. They're going to win some games, but they're going to be bad. And they had guys not even trying against the Panthers, i.e. Devontae Adams. And his coach called him out after the game, saying, as the game went on, there were some individuals that made business decisions, so we'll make some business decisions going forward as well. And after this, Devontae Adams would basically agree and said they had nothing to play for. The Raiders season is over. Giants versus Browns. This is the definition of a game I had no interest in talking about. There's just something about the Browns that makes them extremely unlikable. I can't quite put my finger on it. But the Giants won, and this summed up the entire game. This tweet would say, Pete Browns is breaking up for the celebration for an interception that gets called back and then allowing the Giants go all the way down the field for a touchdown. The Browns fans know nothing but pain and suffering. Eagles versus Saints. There were a few things that happened during this game. The Saints came back down to earth, and Saquon Barkley is a perfect fit for the Eagles and is going to be a monster this year. And Tyrann Mathieu and CJ Gardner-Johnson got into a little bit of a jousting match. The reason why, a list of the top 10 safeties on Madden came out, and Mathieu was ranked number 5 overall with a 91 overall rating in the game. But while CJ Gardner-Johnson wasn't even listed. And then the Eagles beat the Saints, so then CJ Gardner-Johnson had all types of stuff to say on social media. He would say, got replaced by 5, see where they at. Number 7 couldn't live up to the hype. Last year was evidence. The rest I got way more ball production, so when's the new Madden rating dropping? And then Tyrann would come back up, clap back, and a now deleted tweet basically saying that CJ Gardner-Johnson needs to respect it. Titans, Packers. 2 things. The Titans are terrible, and the Packers are going to be pretty good, especially with Malik Willis playing so well. They can now let Jordan Love come back from injury, take his time, and not jump back into things. But it's clear, this game meant a little bit more for Malik Willis. He was traded from the Titans, which was the team that drafted him, obviously, but he played it off like he didn't care, but he obviously did, and he sure showed it. He had 202 passing yards and 1 touchdown during that game. It was basically the best he's ever played on the Titans, and it was against the Titans, so just pretty awesome for him. Bears versus Colts. Brutal game overall. But the thing that needs to be mentioned is that Anthony Richardson is not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. He has all the gifts you need, all of them, but just doesn't have it. Like the thing that you need to be a great quarterback. I don't really know what it is, but someone like Lamar Jackson has it. Josh Allen has it. I used to think Joe Burrow, I don't really know anymore. Patrick Mahomes, just really good presence. I don't know, the quarterback thing. Not sure Anthony Richardson has that. Because he threw 2 interceptions in this game, and one of them was the worst I've ever seen. I'm going to put a little photo right here. I can't really show something because I don't want to do some copyright issues, but this tweet will sum it all up. Anthony Richardson can complete passes that 99% of NFL QBs cannot. Anthony Richardson cannot complete passes that 99% of NFL quarterbacks can complete because he missed a couple really easy ones. Miami versus Seattle. If you ask me, the Seattle Seahawks are pretenders. They're going to be a good little team that makes it to the playoffs, but they're not going to really make any noise. But the story in this game is obviously the Miami Dolphins, because their quarterback, not named Tua, is terrible. And unless Tua comes back, they will not be doing anything. And at the end of the day, I do think it's pretty likely that he does come back, but it raises a whole nother thing. Should he be coming back after all those concussions? Cowboys versus Ravens. The final score of this game would say that it was a lot closer than it was. It was not. The Ravens destroyed the Cowboys. You can look at that 2 different ways. Number 1 is the Cowboys suck, and number 2 is the Ravens can't close games, and both of those are probably true. But Derrick Henry gets the last laugh in this game. He was a free agent this offseason and revealed after signing with the Ravens, the Cowboys never called him, and that was one of the preferred teams that he wanted to play for. And well, he went crazy with 25 rushes, 151 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns that were pretty prolific. Oh yeah, and did this. And following the game, Jerry Jones would say, "We could not afford Derrick Henry." Yeah, okay, man. And leaving the game, Dak Prescott would be talking to himself. And the Cowboys are fighting with each other on the sidelines. It's going to be a tough year for the Cowboys, I think. 49ers versus Rams. The 49ers choked this game for the Rams to win. And I don't personally think the Rams are going to be that great, especially with all the injuries they have. But speaking of injuries, the 49ers have a million of them, and it's actually making me wonder if they're going to actually be able to be a threat late in this season. We shall see. Lions versus Cardinals. Really the only thing memorable from this game, in my opinion, is how Amon-Ra St. Brown did this wild touchdown celebration. And the reason why he did this is because superstar streamer Kai Cenat told Travis Hunter, who's a star college football player, to do this during the game, and both of them did it. And honestly, after watching this, I think I'm getting too old, because why would anybody do that? Falcons versus Chiefs. But the real story is that Travis Kelce kind of sucks now, and he was looking really sad on the sidelines. And Swifties think it's because Taylor Swift didn't go to the game. Sorry to break it to you guys, he stinks now. And lastly on this topic, something I really don't want to talk about and complain about, but it's so obvious, the refs are in the Chiefs' back pocket. Because literally every game, it feels like there's a pivotal point that the Chiefs get some ridiculous call that ends up helping them win the game. Like this one, which Kyle Pitts was getting absolutely assaulted, which was also the game when he drive for the Falcons. Bengals versus Washington. The Bengals are terrible. They're 0-3 this season, and it looks like, and everyone's blaming the fact that Joe Burrow has the blonde hair. He's trying to look like, I don't know, Ellen DeGeneres and maybe Slim Shady. Bro needs to cut it because it's literally cursed. And another thing from this game is how Jaden Daniels is a stud to be the rookie of the year. Jags versus the Bills. Josh Allen is probably the favorite to win the MVP now, and the Bills look great. Also, Damar Hamlin got his first interception after almost dying on the field. Pretty awesome story. But speaking of stories, the story of this game and really this season is, what is Trevor Lawrence? Everyone told me that he was going to be the next coming of Jesus, and honestly, I saw it with my eyes in college that this dude was going to be a stud, and now he's terrible. But he's statistically just basically Daniel Jones, and this graphic tells you all you need to see.